inspections to make sure I do everything properly. You know, it's got to get it done. So let me just sort this out here. I'll get it all finalized. Thank you. So let's just check in here. Sorry about things. I'm kind of running slow today, but we're here. We made it. Thank you very much. I see your notes there. Thank you, Tina. Good evening, Esther. I'm not doing too bad. I'll get into that in just a moment. Eclipse stuff, yes, of course, it's on everybody's mind right now. And yes, Bubba just showed up to certify everything and do the inspection. It looks like we're good to go. Yeah, it looks like we're good to go. So let me just say hi and welcome. Oh yeah, there we are in sunny Las Vegas. It's going to be dark here very soon. Thank God the temperature's dropped about to 10 or 12 degrees today. Thank you. I'm really pleased about that. And eventually it's going to start creeping up and it gets very scary over here. So, good question, Esther, about the eclipses. Well, we've got two coming up. We have the full moon eclipse tomorrow. That will be an Aries sun with the Libra moon. The big one everyone's going on about is a couple weeks from now when it's the new moon eclipse. That's the one everyone's freaking out about. I don't know what to make of it really, because it's in some ways it's just another eclipse. We usually get 4 every year. They come in pairs. 2 weeks apart each one, depending on the signs and whatever it is. I mean, I think the media is making a big deal out of it for whatever reasons I don't really understand. It might be something to do with I'm just trying to stir things up or create huge distractions, because there's some very scary stuff going on in the United States, and I think the mainstream media don't want you to notice. They'd rather you just look over there and pay attention to all sorts of mysterious intangibles rather than some very harsh, brutal realities. That's my opinion at the moment. couple of notes I will add about the eclipses is that they are on the nodal axis, the Libra Aries nodal axis. The Libra South node and the Aries North node will light up a little bit. Of course, everybody with a strong Aries or Libra dynamic in their chart will feel something. Eclipses, like the basic meaning is something is eclipsed out of its current position. Like if you're sitting in a stadium and you've got a nice seat and then somebody parks right in front of you and that person is enormous, the whole event that you're there to witness will be eclipsed out of your view because that person's body is eclipsing the view. That's just one way to look at it. So with the Aries Libra dynamic going on, what I feel would be most emphasized is the energy of the sovereign self. That's you, the individual, and your right and your duty to be you in your most authentic sovereign identity that you can muster. Now, the troubling thing is that there's tremendous forces out there that are working to subdue, subvert, undermine, destroy, corrode, collapse the self, the sovereign self, the individual, okay? And it leaves a sense of, I would say, instability, a sense of being threatened, a sense of fear, such that even the strongest, most powerful, most capable people on earth are starting to tremble because they are seeing certain aspects of their life, their world, themselves, their whole existence, their interpretation of their identity being in extreme jeopardy. And that would be happening in the context of the Libra South node, which is where the energy is coming from the Libra South node towards the Aries North node. And everyone around the world, well, not everyone's going to notice or care, but a lot of people would be starting to realize or understand that vast components of their lives, our lives, are woven into the context of relationships. You have relationships with friends and family, banks, politics, belief systems, communities, neighbors, businesses, social media activities. These are all various forms of relationship where you, the sovereign individual self, have placed yourself into the energy field of something, someone else that is outside of you, that is not in your control, not your domain, not your world. It's something or someone else. And to some degree or other, you have entrusted yourself into that energy field. And some of us have placed tremendous trust into some of those relationships, like your bank, or your spouse, or your partner, or your politicians or your, again, friends and family. A lot of things have been established, built, and assumed to be good and wholesome and appropriate. And then we start to realize, my God, a lot of this relationship stuff, it's happening on autopilot. We don't take full accountability of our relationships. We kind of act from, let's say, being conditioned, how we've been conditioned as children, and then early youth, and then eventually into adulthood. And then those conditions and those imprints start to become part of your identity, and they have a profound impact on your life experience of the world. One of the most obvious examples I can think of right now for a lot of American people, or, well, let's say Western so-called developed nations that have what appears to be relatively comfortable lives to some of the extreme poverty for billions of other people. We have this relationship with money, with like the banks, the government, where we the people have been conditioned and trained to trust our banks and our institutions and our governments implicitly, as though they are godlike structures that will never let us down. The whole idea of a bank is that it's based on trust. In other words, in a small community 100 years ago, the local community would have entrusted their money, their currency, to the bank for safekeeping, because they knew that in the farm or the homestead or the community at large, there was a high risk that things could go bad or go wrong, or there's theft, or there's crime, or sickness, or disease, or illness. And you want to protect your savings, your money, in the most trusted institution in town, which would be that little old building called the bank. And the bank would be operated by a banker in which supreme trust is placed. In other words, when you go there on Tuesday morning and say, hey, I need to withdraw $5, please, because I got to take care of my family for the next week. And the banker goes, of course, sir, yes, you've been with us for 15 years now. Well, I'll go to the back and I'll get $5 for you. Here you go. There it is. Someone else comes in, they want a loan to build an extra barn on their farm. Someone else comes in to pay a monthly payment on a previous loan that was already established in the local community, and so on and so on. And that bank operates on trust. And so you get conditioned. Like, banks are very, very important, very, very safe things. You can trust the bank. You can trust the bankers. Your relationship with the bank and the bankers is like rock. They will never let you down. And then 150 years later, whatever, there's the Federal Reserve Bank that becomes instituted. Then we have the big banks in America like Wells Fargo, Chase, and Bank of America. And American people are starting to realize that these banks, Chase, Wells Fargo, and Bank of America, are effectively now instruments of the government. And you can no longer trust these banks. What used to be very, very trustworthy are some of the most untrustworthy relationships in the world. You might have noticed that in your own life with your own banking. There are some very, very shady, evil things going on in the banking world. So people, and that's a very good example now, again, with the Western world. A lot of people in the last 20, 30, 40 years have been conditioned, born and raised on the understanding that in order to prosper in life, you have to get educated to the extent that you feel you need, and then you go out and get a job and you sweat and sweat for 30, 40 years. You put all your money in a bank and you save and you invest, and eventually you can retire and the money grows and grows and grows, and you have Social Security, you have savings, and the bank will look after you. And the masses are starting to wake up and realizing that they have been betrayed. So their relationship with the banks, the bankers, and the Federal Reserve banking system, the whole of the American banking system, and in turn the whole of the global banking system, is actually an extremely elaborate, very well crafted machine that morphed from something very simple and trustworthy, a bank, into something that is a monstrosity that is designed to extract that wealth out of you and put it into the pockets of the people at the very top of the banking system. That includes BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, Blackstone, State Street, and so on. The major banks, all the central banks, and so on and so on. And they all operate in collusion with the federal government or the governments in whichever country you are. And people are going to realize, oh my God, we're getting screwed. We're getting betrayed. This is not cool. And it becomes very frightening. And it becomes extremely frightening when the issue is money. When people realize that I'm working harder and harder and harder, making effectively less and less money, but the numbers keep going up and up and up. How does that make sense? How is this house over here that was bought for $13,000 in 1962, how is it now $280,000? It's the same house. It looks identical on the outside. The lawn has been grown and up and shaved and mown for decades. The trees have come and gone. Families have moved in and moved out. But the sticker price went from $13,000 to $280,000. There's something wrong here. People are starting to question the system, their relationship with the things that they had most profound trust, like the banks. I'm just giving this as an example. Hold on, let me just check some of the chat here. Some folks have showed up. Hold on. Hello, Esther. I said hi already. Good evening. Hello, Tina. Thank you. I'll get you up with your magic post-it note. I was trying to give some notes about the eclipse, and I went into the subject of trust in the South Node relationships and how it's all being betrayed. And people are starting to look at themselves in the mirror and think, wow, what about me? What about my sovereign self? How have I betrayed myself? How have I allowed myself to be betrayed by these relationships in which we place so much trust? Hello, Necessary Truth. Good evening. Bubba here. Yeah, You don't have any labor areas in your chart. Okay. Well, we're all affected. You know, the eclipse is one way or another. They'll wherever that point lies on your chart, you'll get affected. Okay? See, so many commercials? No, I don't get anything. YouTube does not pay me anything anymore. I get nothing from YouTube. In fact, they just keep demonetizing more and more videos, and they just stripped out another 1,000 subscribers. None of my subscribers get any notifications on the scale that used to when I started the channel. In other words, if you had that many subscribers, you would have notifications that went out to like 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 out of 10,000. Now I'm lucky to get 10, 20 notifications to go out on 12,000. It doesn't make any sense. I've gone back and forth with YouTube about it. The fight is over. There's nothing I can do about it. They deny. I was proven guilty. That's it. I'm guilty until proven innocent. I have not been able to prove my innocence because they don't care. They don't. Their processes don't allow for that. So the channel is effectively dead, demonetized, but we keep going and showing anyway. All the commercials that they may or may not put on this channel, if they get any money from that, it goes straight to them. I don't get anything. So there's an example of a major institution that we're supposed to trust. But really? Masters entrusting her life to Jesus. Hallelujah. Amen. Russian Thoughtbot. Yo! Hope your life is going okay. A Biden promotion showed up on my feed. That's hilarious. Necessary is saying you've got crazy amounts of ads. No, it doesn't. No, I'm not getting anything. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of scam ads. Thank you for mentioning that, Russian Thoughtbot. There's a tremendous amount of fraud out there. Tremendous. YouTube doesn't care. They don't care. There's cryptocurrency scam ads. There's Windows. There's banking. There's get rich quick. All these. It's just disgusting. Hello, Elizabeth. Good evening. I was going to get in touch with you. So, yeah, everything revolves around the sun. It's awful. All right, so let me get back to where I was over here. Let me just point out something. Here is the Libra-Aries axis, okay? I'll probably end up having to do a little show tomorrow night to celebrate the eclipse. I think it would be appropriate. But this is the part that will be under stress. Now, with eclipses, something will be eclipsed. My feeling is that what is most likely to be eclipsed will be unhealthy relationship dynamics. And that will occur because the sun is in Aries. The sun is shining a light, guiding us forward to be our true, honest, most sovereign selves in our brightest light and our brightest power. No apologies. Be you. And from that perspective, then reconsider your relationships. Instead of prioritizing your relationships and automatically trusting everyone and everything by default because of having been conditioned by mainstream media and schools and so on, anything that feels fake and phony, it's time to question it, okay? And you might discover you can eclipse whatever's not working will be eclipsed, but you have to stay strong. You have to be strong. Think of the Aries energy, okay? Yeah. So the first eclipse is tomorrow night. So that will be the sun in Aries and the moon in Libra. The moon is just over here right now, so in a few hours, 12 hours or so, it's going to be up here when we get the eclipse, all right? But the eclipse that everyone's screaming about is 2 weeks later when the moon moves from here all the way over here. And it's a new moon eclipse. And I think that will amplify the whole idea of sovereign self and what's not working, because whatever's not working needs to be eclipsed from your life. And you might feel frightened. You might be, oh my God, I've lost this or I've lost that. I've lost my relationship with this and that or so and so. but it's appropriate because eclipses are evolutionary gateways. They are forcing us to evolve and grow and jettison anything and everything that's not working and just grow up, get on with it, and be grateful, okay? So we'll see what happens. I'm probably not going to talk too much about the Pluto and Aquarius tonight. I'm going to just emphasize, I put a big kind of splurgy thing here in red. You see all this red stuff over here? I marked it out because it's a long, big stellium in Pisces. We got Mars, Saturn, Venus, and Neptune. And we had the Sun here as well. 5 items in Pisces. So that's a tremendous amount of Pisces energy. So wherever Pisces lies in your chart, could be anywhere, that's where you would have felt it. For myself, it was kind of overwhelming, and it still is kind of overwhelming. In my personal life, what I feel has happened is that the Pisces energy, especially with Mars in Pisces, I felt a diminishment in energy. I've also felt very fragile and much less able of expressing my energy the way I most commonly like to express it. Instead, my energy is being expressed in more etheric, intangible ways that are, for me, very hard to define or grasp or understand. Saturn is pushing a tremendous reality check on this part of your life. Venus is softening it up and sweetening it up as well. Neptune is over here in the high degrees, but you add it all up, what I feel is happening is that the world in general is waking up to the amount of perversion, depravity, sickness, disease, corruption, lies, fraud, evil, betrayal that is being perpetrated by humans onto humans. In other words, good people versus bad people. And a lot of people, I think, are just inherently naturally good, and they just want to survive and be happy. They want to have food, comfort, fresh air, shelter, water, friends, companion, and a sense of meaning and some purpose. But there are certain people who feel that they have a right to farm you and deprive you of your energy and suck it into their lives and their world because they feed off the vulnerability and fragilities and the goodness and the softness and the sweetness of the masses. In other words, humanity is being farmed, and imagine a slaughterhouse with millions of pigs, and some of them are starting to realize, oh my God, we're being farmed. We're going to go to the slaughter. But they can't put it into tangible words. They just know that there's something weird about their lives. How come I was just living my life, eating food, hanging out with my buddies, and all of a sudden I'm gone? And they go into pig heaven. Same thing with the cows and the chickens and the turkeys and the seafood and all of that, you know. So there's that going on, and I found it very supercharged, overwhelming. And now we're starting to build up energy over here in Aries. The sun just moved into Aries. We got Mercury in Aries. We got the North Node in Aries. We got Chiron in Aries. So the Aries energy is going to start to amplify over the next few weeks. And we're going to get the eclipses. So this energy of the sovereign self is going to be lit up. And what I feel may happen is that there's going to be increasing violence, a more and more warlike behavior and activity that explodes all over the world because there are millions of people that are so oppressed, they reach a breaking point where they just become violent. Like a pig trying to jump out of a slaughterhouse. They will become violent. Or an animal that feels threatened, and if they have to, they will become violent. Okay, and that's what's happening all across the world. Aries is the warrior. Aries is the fighter. Aries is the energy. I am right. I am me. I have a right to be me. I have a right to survive. I have the right and duty and obligation to get what I need, get what I want in order to be me and live my life. And that has been deprived, stolen by a bunch of, I would say, very, very sick people. And it's becoming a globalized conversation now about globalized corruption. And we'll see where it all goes, but it's going to be amplified over the next few weeks. Do not be surprised to see more and more headlines coming up regarding war, where perhaps one country will try to eclipse another country. And they're going to say, that's it, enough is enough. I'm going to go to war. I'm not going to talk about going to war anymore. I'm going to frickin' do it, you know? Another thing I want to mention now, because it's going to start becoming more and more of a conversation in the astrology world. We've been talking about this historical period since January 2020 and even before. All right? And now we're at March 2024, and all of that stuff that we talked about happened in this area here. This is the multi-generational shift between Pluto and Capricorn and Pluto and Aquarius. This is an era. We're looking really at the end of empires here and the beginning of something radical and new. Revolutionary new structures in global society. Okay? So we talked about that a lot. That's a 20-year journey when we're on the path right now. But we're entering another very, very big astrological timestamp. And that's going to come in late next year. And that's when Saturn over here conjoins with Neptune over here. Of course, Neptune moves very slowly. So by the time it happens, Neptune will move from here to here. And at the same time, Saturn will have moved from here to here. And when that happens, when Saturn conjoins Neptune, it's going to be a profound moment in global history. Okay? So we'll talk about this more and more in the future. It's going to happen around the 0 degrees Aries mark, right here on the axis itself. So it's a very profound time in global history. At the same time, Pluto will be roughly here. Uranus will be roughly here. And we're going to get strong shifts and changes in energy. We're going to get the Aquarius, Gemini, Aries energy. So it's going to be very much more, let's say, excited, volatile, dynamic, compared to what we've been dealing with a lot of Capricorn and Taurus, heavy, slow earth energy. Okay? Hello, Ivona. So I just wanted to put that out there. Right now, tonight, we are already in the Libra moon. It's just here in the couple of degrees of Libra. It's opposing the sun, but it'll be full on tomorrow. So this thing is very, very big right now. I know that in my world, I'm just going to give you a glimpse of my world over here. Well, I'm going to talk about it, basically. You know, living by example, what I have realized in my own personal journeys is that I have believed in things that are not worthy of my belief. I have trusted in people, institutions that are not worthy of me or my beliefs. And I regret that. I know that these institutions, I'm talking mostly about banks, banking, big government and anything to do with money in the banking system and the government system. Like millions, well, like probably billions of people, I slowly woke up and started to realize, my God, I really am a debt cow. I've been harvested for years. I actually gave up on the world financially 25 years ago. I don't have credit cards, I don't have car payments, I don't have mortgages, I don't have college loans, I don't carry debt of any kind. I learned long ago that it's not healthy. There are certain forms of debt that are very, very valuable and useful if you've done it right. But if you are one of the people that's been conditioned to be farmed, where the world of debt you feel is like something like you believe in, like, oh, I have to get a car loan, I have to get a house, I have to have mortgages, and I have to have a good credit score, or else who am I? Who am I? And my core belief systems were conditioned just like everyone else, and I got sucked in and trapped into all the evils of the global financial system, and then I suffered a tremendous damage, and I decided I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'd rather be my sovereign self and live within the confines of my tangible physical reality, rather than trying to operate in this fraudulent world that is the banking system today. That goes from the United States Federal Reserve Bank all the way down to your local bank on the corner, just a small regional bank, or your ATM machine, or your debit card, credit card, all of that stuff. It's very, very fragile, and billions of people across the world are starting to realize that the whole system is fragile. And so I'm trying to learn how to insulate and protect myself from the fragilities of very unhealthy relationships with these things called banks and the world of money. And because it affects everybody on earth. If you look around, it's very, very difficult to operate anywhere without this stuff called money. Money is like blood. It's like oxygen. It goes through your life, your world. If you don't have it, you die. It's very, very difficult to operate without money. Okay? So, yeah. It's actually very, very difficult to operate without. In other words, because I deliberately chose to remove myself, I don't consider myself a debt cow anymore. You know, I've used that word a lot, especially in my little book here. I'm very, very proud of this. Everything I wrote in here is coming true, basically. When I realized that I had been a debt cow for so long, without realizing I was a debt cow, I decided I don't want to be a debt cow anymore. I'm proud of all the jobs I've had and the things that I've done to earn money and keep myself alive, sustain myself. And then when I look back and realize how much of that energy is extracted from my being and moved into these relationships with these people, these institutions who've turned out to be extremely criminal, fraudulent, and not worthy of being trusted. And so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to play that, and I'm just not going to do that. I've talked about this before, like cows who were running away from the slaughter, pigs who were running away from the slaughter. I jumped the fence. I jumped out of the truck. I ran away, and I live in the virtual financial wilderness now today, and I fend for myself in my own peculiar little ways. I'm not recommending it as a lifestyle for anybody in particular, because it might not work for a lot of people. So anyway, it's just I just wanted to share a few personal things there. I happen to be a person who I'm very interested in freedom. I'm very interested in privacy. I'm very interested in self-defense and the right to be me. I personally believe that I've lived many, many lifetimes at the very lowest ends of society, but in a very modest and legitimate, honest way. And that I have been victimized before, and I've been a debt cow before, but I've also lived other lifetimes where I've had immense power and splendor and integrity. I also believe that I've been a Native American and suffered the fate of what happened to Native Americans. And all sorts of things, but in each case there's a lot of, like in my, like, okay, let's look, I'm just sharing a few personal things, but it's the same story for everybody with the Aries North Node, and that's very tightly aligned with Chiron in Aries, and it's going to be along the Aries Libra eclipse. I am allowing myself to feel what I'm feeling without dismissing it as me being a crackpot. Instead, I'm acknowledging that, wow, I've probably done some bad things in my life in other previous lifetimes. I probably hurt people, other people hurt me. I might have been very primitive, I might have been very advanced, kind, mean, poor, rich, I don't know, all of it, a lot of mixed up. But at this very moment in time, I am acutely aware of the damage. I'm not indulging in being a victim. I'm way beyond that. I understand the damage, I understand the wounds, I understand how the damage was perpetrated. But I've grown beyond that. I've evolved beyond that. And I wish I could help others more than I do. I don't know how to do what else more than what I'm doing already. But the Aries North Node combined with Chiron in Aries, combined with the eclipses all coming up, I'm allowing myself to feel my Aries self, because I have a part of my chart which is all about Aries, just like you. Somewhere in your chart, you might not have any planets or aspects there or anything in particular, but there will be a point in your chart where the eclipse will land, and that's the sensitivity spot, that's the hot spot for you in particular. That depends on your personal astrology, which is your spiritual DNA. Anyway, all 8 billion of us people will be affected some way or another. A lot of people won't know, they won't care, but some people who are interested in this stuff, they will care and they will try to educate themselves or learn something or enjoy it in some way. I've heard that the eclipse is attracting a lot of attention, where the eclipse path itself is going to be populated by people who are eager to see what an eclipse looks like, a solar eclipse. I don't blame them. It's an amazing phenomenon to witness. I've witnessed quite a few, well, I've witnessed maybe 4 or 5 in my life. It's quite something. I made a few videos last year about some of the eclipses. Yeah. Let me go back to the charts for a minute. Let me do that over here. Okie dokie. So let me sort out Tina. She's got a reading booked over here. I've got room for 1 or 2 more readings, possibly. So if anyone's interested, you know the drill, but I will go over the drill anyway, just in case. Just put up that. Okay. While Mars was crossing through Aquarius for the last 2.5 months or so, you might have noticed that there's been tremendous volatility and revolutionary energy sparking all over the world. You know, especially with the violent, very bizarre, unpredictable, violent activities, okay? Oh, you also booked, Elizabeth? Oh, okay, I didn't see that. Hold on, thanks for letting me know. All right, let's have a look. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I'll put you later on. Okay, thank you, Tina. I saw your notes. Let's see how we go. While for the last few months, oh, you put one in too? Hold on, I better, give me a second here, folks. Give me just a second. I've got to make sure that everything's good and then I'm running the show properly here. And okay, well, I'll keep an eye out, okay? All right, okay. Okay, thank you, Necessary Truth. All right, that's it. So we're going to leave it at that. My voice is very weak, fragile tonight, so I won't be taking any more readings after that. I'll put that over here as a reminder, so let's put Necessary Truth over here. There we go. Alrighty. We'll do it like this. How does that look? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll just do this routine very, very quickly because we're already booked up for tonight. Thank you very much. But for any newbies who are curious down the road in the future, here's what you do. Okay, I'll do Elizabeth first, then Necessary Truth, then Tina Miller. Okay? So for future access, if anybody wants a reading, you can go to TarotLumination.com. On the live shows, you just go to the donate button, click. It opens up the payment processor. Click. You scroll down, choose to use a card, swipe your card just like online shopping, and poof, there it is. Done. If you want a full-blown personal private one-on-one reading, you can do the same thing. You can just click on the readings page and it opens another button. It takes you to the payment place and we can connect and write by emails until we schedule it and do it. And it's very, very similar to what we do on the live shows, except it's just you and me. Okay? So there we are. I'm going to put this aside. What I've noticed personally is that over the last few months, and especially when Pluto finally traversed into Aquarius, things became extremely volatile, very revolutionary energy, violent outbursts all over the world. Countries and people, cities, populations, belief systems, religious groups, political groups all over the world just what's the word for it? It's not lashing out, but it's like they're breaking out. They want freedom. They want to be who they are. All the criminals, they want to be criminals. They want freedom to be criminals. All the people who want to reconstitute the Constitution in America, I'm one of them. All the people who want this are becoming very, very activated. All the people who want the exact opposite of this, which is globalized, institutionalized communism, according to certain elites that I won't mention here, they want that. That's what they want. And they are doing everything in their power to do that. It's revolutionary. Now, that went on for a few months, and it's become very violent and obviously violent. The violence is going to increase because a lot of the sickness and the sick people, people who use crime and violence as a way of life, that is going to amplify over the next few months. And that's going to be kind of scary and kind of tragic and very disturbing. And then Mars is going to enter Aries. The thing about Mars in Pisces is that Mars is not very, it's kind of, the Pisces Neptune energy can be very, very diffuse. And so Mars likes to operate like a military machine. It likes precision, action, power, meaning and purpose and direction in the moment, now. However, Pisces comes along and says like, yeah, maybe I should just take a nap, I was all excited and worked up to do this and this and this and this and that most really important thing. And then I got distracted by something else, and I kind of lost my momentum, and that looks interesting, I'll do there. So it's a lot more difficult to execute the Mars energy while Mars is in Pisces. And so it can be expressed in very, irrational ways that are less than optimal. It's much more likely that crime will become more amplified. Crime, perversions, and injustice will become amplified, okay? So just please allow for that. Saturn's going to call it out, and it's going to become very obvious that there's some very ugly stuff going on. Venus will provide a little bit of refuge and comfort. Neptune is going to continue to it's going to symbolize everything that is collapsing in society in terms of sickness, morality, honesty, truth, justice, integrity, and how it's becoming almost meaningless while it's being overthrown and overridden by fraud, deception, lies, crime, perversion, disease, and so on. So in some ways it's very frightening, tragic, and scary. However, you've got to reveal it to see it, and that's what's going to allow us to heal all this stuff. Here you go. All right, so what I think we'll do... Night, Love Triber. Let's leave this for now, and let's get on with the readings, okay? I need to top up, so I'm having a little bit of iced tea. I need to top up, then we need to shuffle cards. Get ready, so brace yourselves, people. How am I going to do this? Oh, hold on a second. Just a couple of things I just wanted to add. With the shift in energy that's happening because of Mars going into Pisces, things are going to be very sort of wishy-washy, but also because it's a big, big, fat Pisces Neptune type stellium in the 12th house for the whole world, all the bad stuff that I talk about, it's going to become more and more obvious, more and more amplified. One of the most obvious things, if you're in America, is what they're calling the fake news. Because there's a very, very powerful agenda in the United States to destroy America from within. And one of the most powerful weapons is propaganda and miscommunication and mind control. And a lot of that is done through the media. And some people are starting to notice that, wait a minute, there's a severe disparity between reality and what we are being told by the mainstream media. It's so obvious, it's so out of alignment with truth that it's impossible not to notice. If people do notice it, they say, no, it can't be that bad. Things can't be that bad. That's stupid. You can trust the government. You can trust the banks. Okay. James, I'm loaded up already. I would love to work with you. We could do a little tiny mini reading during the week if you like, perhaps from Tuesday onwards. I won't be able to take any more tonight. My voice is very fragile. I have 3 readings booked already, but I really thank you for asking. We've already worked together, so you already know the routines and all the processes that we do. So just wanted to let you know. Thank you for asking. So let's get sorted out and get started with Elizabeth's reading. Okay, and I'm going to get some iced tea. Alright, so I got my tea, I got my deck of cards, got my magic post-it note for Elizabeth, got my notice. So apparently James will connect up again soon. Okay, James, thank you very much. Let's bless this deck Bless every single card in the deck. Bless Pamela Coleman Smith, the original artist, and the guys Rider-Waite, even though they screwed her over. It's still an amazing phenomenon that we have in our hands today. Let's bless all the softwares and the channels, the cameras, the lights, the microphones, the electricity, the internet, the cable system, the platform itself, Mr. YouTube, and so on and so on. That allows us to do this bizarre thing that we do here. It's amazing that we can do this, floating around in the ether, knowing that we're all connected to our invisible friends, and they're connected to us. And there's so much more going on in this life experience beyond our three-dimensional selves. Of course, we have to be present in our three-dimensional selves, but it's really amazing when you think, I don't know if some of you have seen this, but give me a second here, Elizabeth. I'll be with you soon. Hold on. Some of you might have seen these. There's so much, I would say, junk advertising. Junk advertising I've seen on YouTube, and there's a couple of them. There's like I think 3 or 4 people who are talking. They use all these artificial intelligence, AI robotic bots, and commercials are made by AI with these fake faces on fake bodies and fake voices and everything. And they're trying to sell these packages about how you can amplify your pituitary gland and get more and more in contact with heaven and your angels and the multi-dimensional experience. And I haven't followed the ads. For all I know, they're selling ayahuasca trips down in Peru, or maybe they're selling drugs or chemicals that will basically get your pituitary activated. Oh, I don't know. But please be careful, people. Please be careful. Our little tiny pituitary gland right here, it's deep inside. It's right in there. It's about the size of a grape. Apparently, I've never seen one, but apparently it's about the size of a grape. And it has a sort of gnarly exterior, and inside it has rods and cones and liquid, just like an eyeball. So inside, it's just like an eyeball. But the rods and the cones inside the pituitary are sensitive to frequencies above and outside of the visible spectrum. Now, our visible spectrum is only one part of the electromagnetic spectrum. On the high end, there's the ultraviolets and so on. On the low end, there's infrareds and so on. And in the world of spirit, when things like when you're doing remote viewing or remote healing or psychic impressions or getting psychic impressions or doing psychic readings with people or mediumship or something like that, all of that stuff operates on higher electromagnetic frequencies than our visible spectrum. And it is the pituitary gland in particular that gets activated by this mystical stuff. And humans have been aware for it a long time. They have their magic mushrooms, they have their ayahuasca plants and leaves and lots of different chemicals that come from plants that stimulate all the biochemistry in your brain. But the one that, the thing is, you don't really need any of those external stimulants. The pituitary is what it is already. A lot of times we don't tune into it, but it's there. And with a very well-developed active pituitary gland, you can literally kind of make visual contact with your invisible friends, archangels, guardian angels, and so on. Mediumship, you can hear things, you can see things, and it comes through the pituitary gland. There you go. And that's sort of what we do here in our own quirky little way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. It's like, talk about shroom scams, necessary truth. I'll just tell you, my dear brother, I love him very much. He's a very successful man, father, husband. And when he was a very young lad, he always had a business streak inside of him. And he figured out that he could make good money selling drugs to other school kids. He was one of those guys who sold drugs to school kids. Anyway, they weren't real drugs. It was oregano. He would go to a grocery store and buy a little bag of oregano, break it all up, put it into little paper handmade little pouches, break it up and sell it to people, telling them it's weed. And he got caught and he got expelled. There you go. Not many people know that, but that's a true story about my brother. It's no different from a lot of the scammy things going on YouTube. There you go. All right, come on, Elizabeth, it's time. I've been talking too much, as usual. Okay. So, I'm going to put this, oh, by the way, before we do the reading, this is March, okay? We're here tonight, right now. Mars is already in Pisces, Venus is in Pisces, Mercury is in Aries, the Sun is in Aries, the Moon is in Libra. We've got the eclipse tomorrow night, okay? That's the Aries-Libra full moon eclipse. And guess what happens? We've been forgetting about it for a while because this is pretty much a blank, clear slate in terms of retrogrades, but watch what happens the first day of March. Boing! Mercury goes retrograde. There you go. So, just letting you know, it's going to be retrograde during the new moon eclipse. This is the new moon Aries, new moon in Aries, and it's a solar eclipse right here. The sun will be in Aries, the moon will be in Aries, and something will be eclipsed. We'll see. All right. So, we started shuffling. Dear Elizabeth, thank you for hanging out with us. Let's see, what kind of messages do we have here for Elizabeth tonight? I just saw your note there, Elizabeth. It's all one big long word, and I just figured it out. Fake news leads to sick minds. That's brilliant. That's brilliant, Elizabeth. Thank you for that one. All right, let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. We've already done the blessing. We've had a bit of a chit-chat about the global astrology, some of the scary stuff, some of the good stuff. But now it's just one-on-one, okay? When we do these little readings here, it doesn't matter what your sun sign is or where your node, whatever they are. We can figure it out. My computer doesn't work. Oh, okay. Wow. That's freaky. I've never seen that before. All right, cards are well shuffled. Let's see what happens. What kind of messages do we have here for Elizabeth tonight? Even though her computer doesn't work, she's communicating with us anyway. Actually, in a very clear way. I can actually read that. Right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at the external energy. There's always an external influence. Okie dokie. So we have the Queen of Swords. Oh boy, oh boy. With the Queen of Swords here, my feeling, Elizabeth, is that this is kind of a no-nonsense energy, and it's almost like a mirror. My feeling is that all the planets right now, they are aligning in such a way for you in particular, where the message is very simple, very strong, very, very pure. Okay, we're talking about the Queen of Swords. It's time for you to fully embody the Queen of Swords, part of your identity. Now, we already know that you can be quite feisty whenever you want to. And we also know that you are a very pure, direct person at the depth of your soul. We also know that you've endured some horrific circumstances in your life, and yet here you are. You always find a way to present yourself well, even when things are horrific. I don't know how you do it, but you do it. But the way I feel this with the Queen of Swords is that you're growing stronger and stronger and stronger, okay? In such a way that you already know, you've learned the hard way that being very truthful, very honest, very direct with people can backfire very badly. Because you're just pure. You're very pure, okay? And like if you voice something to somebody or something about what is unjust, you have the right to do that. But sometimes it's so direct in their face that things backfire onto you. And I'm only sharing this because I know this because we've worked together for many years now. So I'm trying to condense everything down to this one thing with the Queen of Swords. My feeling with the Queen of Swords is that it's time for you to grow beyond the inflammation that arises when you feel injustice. And rather than trying to protect and defend yourself and claim your right to be you in the context of someone or something which has zero respect for you, rather than trying to do this and taking the bait and being sucked into their negative energy field, it's time for you to go, oh, really? Oh, okay. Bye. Bye. In other words, all you do, it's a new formula going forward. It's time for you to simply divorce yourself from anyone and anything that is below you. Okay? I'm not trying to pump your ego or inflate you to the point where you're like this queen of something or other. It's more about preserving yourself in such a way that it's not worth spending your time and energy trying to fight and protect yourself from somebody who they have no integrity, and it's not your job to heal them or fix whatever went out of their, whatever went wrong. And instead, it's basically recognize what is not working with this person or this relationship or this situation and simply go, that's it. I'm gone. I'm out of here. With no remorse, no explanations, like pure Aries style. In other words, it's going to sound rude, but you do what you got to do. And here's another thing. Here's another thing. You know, what I'm going to say for you, Elizabeth, now is something that can easily be abused, but it can also be very, very useful attitude, mindset, like a little bumper sticker that you could, let's see, give me a second here. For example, you could take a little post-it note like this, and I'm going to suggest that you might put this little phrase on your refrigerator and remember it in the future. And this little phrase is, it's better to apologize later than ask for permission now. Okay? In other words, be you, and you don't have to, I'm not saying, you see, the thing about that particular bumper sticker is that it is exploited by nefarious people. But it can also be a healthy way to live by someone who wants to live a good life, insists on maintaining your integrity. And instead of constantly belittling yourself, thinking like, oh, I wonder what someone's going to think of me if I do this or that or that. I wonder if I need permission to do this or that. I better go knock here. I better do this and this before I do that. No, it's time to flip it upside down. It's okay for you to basically do this to anyone and anything that you now know is efficiently not good for you. But you don't have to do it with any form of hostility. You literally just switch it off, pull the plug, and walk away. You don't take the bait. You don't get sucked in. You just be you. Okay. Fluffles, hi. Okay, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Aww, I'm happy for this. We've got the Four of Wands here. I don't know what's going on in the details of your life, your world right now, but it makes me feel that there's something going on. It might be just a little seed of something where it's appropriate for you to celebrate and share your new, I would say, new levels of awareness, growth, stability, evolution, integrity, and happiness. Okay? So, that's, to me, it feels like, now as far as I remember, I don't know if you're still doing it, but I recall that I think we're going to be doing some volunteer work in the hospital. I don't know if you're still doing it or whatever. But going forward, with this Four of Wands, my feeling is that when it comes to future relationship dynamics, you have a lot to offer. And I'm sensing this in a very kind of impersonal way. I'm sensing this like in your world around you. You look at your world around you. When you adopt this posture of refusing to tolerate anything that is below you, it's actually a very liberating thing to do. And what that does, it allows you to, let's say, I would call it walk tall, walk high, and look the world right in the eye. And it's like a celebration. It's like when you're walking down the street, you're doing this or that. Yes, there's some horrible things that go on out there in the world. It's always a scary place. You are still highly vulnerable to being victimized, okay? We already know that. However, I feel that with this new energy, there's a new part of you that's starting to unfold where it's okay for you to share your, it's like, okay, hold on, how am I going to do this? I guess it's to be more open with the sweet side of your nature, with the fun side of your nature, where it's like embracing relationships that feel good and celebrating them, knowing that it's based on you being more and more and more you, and while at the same time doing this to anything, relationships, people, situations that are not appropriate, healthy for you. And that can help you to feel good. And when you feel good like that, it's like going up to the grocery store or wherever you are, or you're doing your daily chores, routines, people that you encounter, and you can be, let's say, I would say, more confident to share your true nature, knowing that you're still vulnerable, but also knowing that you have matured and grown, and that you are no longer vulnerable to taking the bait from nasty, evil, hostile people. Okay? That's what I'm sensing about this card. That's something to celebrate. And it's almost something like, oh, it's almost like sharing your stories about how you discovered ways and means to be happy despite some of the horrors that you've had to endure. Eventually you'll find more and more ways to share that, like your writing and so on. But even just in day-to-day life. So what are the challenges here? You might feel a bit shy to share and be open so much when you're still relatively vulnerable. All right. Look at that, King of Swords. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, my feeling is that with the King of Swords here, one of the things that there's a very, very, very deep wound inside of you, Elizabeth. We don't know if it's probably like a Chiron type wound where it may never ever fully heal in this lifetime. It's one of those wounds that is permanently painful. You're not supposed to dwell on it, but you have to be aware that it's there so that you don't continuously re-injure yourself. Okay? Because we know about a lot of the tragic stories and events that you've had to endure. And so you've been heavily, heavily, heavily damaged by some very, let's say, malicious people, especially males, who have made it their business to exploit you and bring harm. And that's a very deep wound. So you have a legitimate fear of men who might present themselves as very cool, powerful, nice, and well-meaning. You already know that those can sometimes turn into those vicious, evil monsters. Okay? So that's a legitimate fear. But remember, you have full awareness now. You've been through so much. You've got to reveal it to heal it. You know what this is. Okay? You know it's time to move on and move beyond that. This may never heal in this lifetime. There's no point in expecting it to. But when you know that it's there, at least you can circumvent. And when your intuition, your pituitary gland, and your guts tell you that someone is actually very bad news, very dangerous, prospectively very toxic to you, then you simply go whoosh. That's it. You do not try to fight that. You basically separate yourself from that energy. You recognize it, and so it's like a survival mechanism going onwards, okay? So, once you understand that, you have, in other words, know thy enemy. Once you know the enemy and they've been fully identified, you know how they behave, what they do, how they do it, you don't have to be a victim. Let's keep going. How do we move forward from here? Because it's scary, because this is very big, powerful, and strong, and it has left you deeply scarred and conditioned. But you have matured and grown so much beyond that. So where do you go from here? Oh, wow. So we got the World card here. So the World card is an indication that we're at this is the end of an era, okay? If you want to look at the astrology, at the very, very, very big scale of life in this world, you're at the end of an era A lot of these horrible things that have happened to you through life have come to a culmination where you've realized the full extent. It's fully, you've reached full awareness. You know exactly what this is. And by enshrining it on paper, putting it into a book form, you can basically print the book, close the book, and move on. It's like a movie. If you think of your whole life up to this point as a movie, that movie is now over and you're going on to the new movie, the Elizabeth Boucher Part 2. Okay? So, nothing to be frightened of here. This is actually, it looks to me like something to celebrate. It looks like it's been very tumultuous for you. But we do mature, we do grow, we do move on. With these eclipses, it's very, very appropriate for you. Do not put these fears, there's no point in pretending this is all gone and it's over. The wounds and the scars are still there, but the actual events no longer have to impact your life and your world. You can move on. You are free. You have liberated yourself. You have become strong and you can share your strength, your knowledge, your wisdom with others now. What you have learned. There's so much more that you can do. And that's like the beginning of a new life, a new chapter. What's that going to look like? We don't know yet. Because this is just starting. This is just beginning. Okay? And I know it might feel like it's a long time for you, like developing your screenplays, developing your book. It's taken huge amounts of time and energy, but you've done it. Everything is on Word, on paper. There might be some refining to do, more to fill out, but essentially, by going through that incredibly daunting, painful process, it's like you have revealed it to heal it. It's a form of self-healing. And it's in some ways it's like it's no longer inside of you, okay, directly. It's no longer directly inside of you. It's now being exported, and it now lives in the form of a story. Okay? Your story, your life, your world. But you still have life. You have a whole new life unfolding ahead of you. Because this is all being dealt with. All the evils of this have been dealt with, and they've been put in their place, and they're fully understood. The scars are still there, but you can still live on and move on. The end of the old, the beginning of the new. Think of this as very much to do with the eclipses. Now, I'm not remembering any of your personal astrology right now, but you might feel as though there are certain people, situations, ideas, beliefs, relationship dynamics that are disappearing or being removed from your life and your world right now. And it might feel a little bit weird because, you know, people fall in love. They don't know who they are without their problems. And you've been so heavily conditioned with your challenges that to grow above this and put your issues aside to the point where you've grown beyond that, it leads you into a whole new world where, you know, if we were doing a really in-depth reading for hours and recording it and so on, the Fool card might appear where like, who am I now? Where am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to live my life? Who is the new me? Who is the new Elizabeth Boucher? And that's one of the reasons why some heavily victimized people are very frightened about the future, because without it's like people lose their identity. So much pain, so much trouble, so much stress, that becomes your identity. But that's not really you. That's the wounded person. Underneath the wounds is the Elizabeth Boucher that we're talking about here. This is the sweet, fun stuff. And so this to me is a message to look forward to a whole new world beginning to unfold around you. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm just going to leave it at that. So let me, I'm going to shake this up a little bit. Necessary, we're going to read for you next. Okay, so just going to put this up here, take these away. We're going to shuffle it all up. Let's do this over here. I just need to put the cards back here. And then we're going to shuffle up and then do a reading. I want to do something wacky, wild. Hold on. So with that little Four of Wands, I want to celebrate with you, okay? So I'm going to play you my little song. It's called The Bounce, okay? It's a very, very old song. I hope you enjoy the words.
This is called The Bounce. Tokyo, even in old Moscow, in some parts of Trinidad, I remember the good times I had, all along the Great Wall of China, on the decks of ocean liners, with the Incas up in the Andes, way out in Los Angeles. Let's bounce, let's bounce, let's bounce, let's bounce. I smoked powwow with Geronimo. I've been downtown with nowhere to go. I made peace between the West and East, and I've met Beauty and the Beast. I swam around the great equator. I started out sooner than later. I've been out to both of the poles, and I know where you don't go old. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Let's bounce.
There you go.
We got the words. We got the lyrics. Let's just see if we can hear it now.
So there you go. Necessary, you're up. So I wrote that a very long time ago when I was in the world of pop music, and I was paid to write songs, and I had a pop group, and I was a very active, lively fellow. And I'm going to try and do the type of dance. I don't know if you can see it here, but it's one of these, it's not normal dancing. It's the kind of dance that looks sort of like this. See if I can actually do it. Now don't be scared, people. It sort of looks like this, like I'm going to sing some of the words, like way out in Tokyo, even in old Moscow, in some parts of Trinidad, I remember the good times I had, all along the Great Walls of China, on the decks of ocean liners, with the Incas up in the Andes, way out in Los Angeles. Let's bounce. Let's bounce. Okay? It was that kind of dance. It's a dance where you stand up and you put your arms very tight to the side and you just bounce. I always thought it was a really cool dance. There you go. Yeah. Now I'm exhausted and I'm out of breath. Wow. Whew. All right, here we go. Dear Necessary Truth, thank you for choosing TarotLumination to do your little mini live tarot reading here on our show. It's been wonderful to share these events and evenings with all you guys for so many years. I feel very privileged, like we have our own very, very elite little club. It's wonderful. Some of you might have been here since the very beginning, especially Maria, Ivona. Very, very, I mean, we're going back till February 2017. Can you imagine that? Yep. So, yeah, Sorry, I'm just doing a last minute shuffle. That was it back in the glory days of TarotLumination when I would do, let's see, 12, 24, like 20, 30 videos a week, a month. 24, like, yeah, about 30 videos a month. Now I'm doing about 4. Anyway, there you go. All right, let's have a look. So, necessary truth. Most of you here tonight know necessary truth is a psychic medium. Very, very advanced skills. So the question is always like, well, what do I do with that? Anyway, here we go. Let's have a look. We're going to do the TarotLumination diagnostic spread. It's my situational spread, as we call it. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. Let's see what shows up. We've got the Chariot. Okie dokie. Okay, this looks to me like a very loud message, dear necessary truth. A very, very loud message. If you've got something simmering inside of you, which is, I don't know, how can I describe this? What I feel is that there's something inside of you which has been simmering for a long time and is seeking self-expression. I don't know what that is. It might be going further into the world of mediumship. It might be some form of self-expression. It might be some form of private enterprise, entrepreneurship. It might be some form of, did I say creative self-expression? Or some activity, some kind of project, okay? And deep down it's been either simmering or it's suppressed because like, oh, I can't do this. It's going to take too much time. It's going to cost too much money. It's going to distract me. Or how can I do this while I'm doing this? How can I live my life over here while there's part of me which wants to do this? Well, the Chariot, I'm not even going to bring up the astrology charts, not just at this second, but to me it's making me feel as though the planets are knocking on your door saying, dear necessary truth, it's okay, come on, you can do this, it's okay, don't worry about what could go wrong, you know, who, what, when, why, where, how, and when it could all go wrong. Screw it. Jump. Just frickin' do it. Get out there and just start where you are. That's all you can do. There's no point in thinking, well, if I do this, then I'll do that. I'll plan for this, and then when I got that part done, I'll do that. No. Okay, let's align this with the planets a little bit, like with the eclipse. With the full moon eclipse, you might have a realization like, yes, I know what you're saying, TL. There's this thing. I know I got to do it. I know I have to be it. And it's like I can't avoid it anymore. It's like when you're a little kid and your mom comes along and says, "You gotta wake up, come on, it's time to get out of bed," and they rip off the covers off your bed, and then you have to get up. That's sort of what I feel is happening. Like, it's just like I'd rather just stay like how I am. Everything's fine. I'm gonna be fine. But my feeling with the Chariot, it's just like no. You have a life to live. You got stuff to do, places to go, people to see, things to do, okay? Don't worry about the details, who, what, when, why, where, how. Just start. Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks, TL, for that. Yeah, Oh. So, that's what I'm sensing here. Because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else can do it for you. It's your life. You can't outsource your life to anybody else to live it for you. So it's time for you to grab the reins and get rolling on whatever that is. What's the situation? Let's have a look here. Okie dokie. So we've got the Nine of Pentacles. My feeling is that it might be something to do with business and money, where you've reached a plateau and you've started to realize that you might be looking at yourself differently now when it comes to work, money, career issues, where it's time to refine things and improve things and upgrade everything so you can, instead of being a slave to a system or trading what you would call time for money, it's time to work smarter, not harder. Because in your physical life, there's only so many hours that you could put into your work, and there's only so many dollars you can get paid on a paycheck. And so people start thinking, well, what does that mean? Work smarter, not harder. I don't know. It's like, how do you capitalize on your talents and your gifts and resources so that it's like, I'm not saying it's time to set up your own business exactly, but maybe there's something along that lines where you can capitalize on your natural gifts and talents and create a new level of financial independence and security for the long term. But you have to start now. You've probably already got something started in the background, but maybe it's time to look at new strategies, avenues, directions, goals for the long term, so that when the time comes, you can basically get off of the treadmill of life and enjoy the fruits of your labors as an independent. Does that make any sense? All right, what's the challenges here? Okay, it's kind of simple. It's finding the time and the energy to do all that stuff that has to be done. When I was talking about working harder, like I was talking about work smarter, not harder, it does take energy. It takes energy to work smarter, not harder. However, what does that energy look like? In other words, if you just simply get up earlier, work more hours, collect a slightly bigger paycheck, it's almost counterproductive here. It's a question of like, you might not be sure exactly about how to direct all your energy. So in other words, there's a big question mark here. It's like, okay, TarotLumination, thanks for that. That's cool. Work smarter, not harder. But what does exactly that look like? What does that exactly look like? How exactly do I channel all my energy in such a way that it actually works. The whole idea of long-term independence, financial abundance, long-term planning, goals is actually attainable. Do I have the right skills, the right time, do I have enough time? Do I have enough energy? So working smarter, not harder, what people wish for is like, they often get sucked into these. You have to be very, very careful, because some people want this very, very badly, and they get sucked into get-rich programs, get-rich-quick programs, and they realize they're getting defrauded or scammed or something. So you have to be very, very careful. And so people often think, well, I'm not going to get sucked into one of those get-rich programs. I'm just going to stay as an employee. I'm going to work harder and try and get a couple of dollars per hour, per month, salary increase, and that's going to be it. But there's something in your soul, okay, necessary, which is, it's about growing up and out of that mindset. The fear, like, do I really have the time? Do I really have the energy? Do I have the skills, the motivation, the passion, the inspiration? Is it really, really there? Is this something where it's just sitting there and I can just light it with a fire, like a little match, and it just comes alive? Or is this just stagnant, buried, lost, and it's just going to go nowhere? All right, let's have a look. How do we go forward in that situation? I guess it's kind of refinement. What I'm sensing here is refinement, because, you know, as a psychic medium, you're kind of, in some ways, you're kind of as far evolved as you can possibly be in this human experience, because you're operating at the levels of the ethereal. And your physical body, your physical day-to-day life is just a physical means of support that allows you to exist in the ethereal realms. So there's like a bridging here, like how do we, let's say, integrate three-dimensional life, success, integrity, security, wealth, abundance, with the spiritual realm, the ethereal realm? How do we do that? Big, big question mark. It does take energy, commitment, time, passion, but what does that look like? That might be the big issue here. Okay, how do we move forward if we don't know what this looks like? Okay. You sleep on it, you pray for divine guidance, okay? So in other words, let's tap into all the Pisces vibes here, okay? Let's tap into this. Think of this in a positive way. You know, I've used some very negative language about these vibes here, but the beautiful thing about this huge Pisces stellium is that if you tap into it properly, it's a massive energy field, like it's a portal of energy field, where if you tap into it appropriately, you can get divine inspiration. You can, in other words, through because you're an active, lively person, okay? You're very immersed in life. You've got a world, you have a three-dimensional world, but there's also that other world out there which is multi-dimensional, and that's very much related with this energy here. Okay, so you might be feeling like wherever this lies in your chart, whether you've got aspects here or not, doesn't matter, wherever this lies in your chart, that's a huge, huge stellium, basically sort of saying, wake up, come on, come on, come on, come on. We need to get on this, okay? And that's this part of the reading here. But what does it look like? What does it mean? So what you do is you basically say, okay. There's no point in trying to figure it out by traditional three-dimensional processes, what you do is you deliberately tap into the dream state. You deliberately go into meditative states. Basically, I guess you could say like advanced prayer. And you dedicate a little bit of time and energy every day into doing some very deep, meditative, very simple, pure, but very powerful prayer, which effectively comes down to this. I'm going to keep it very simple. This is the KISS rule, okay? Keep it simple, silly. Okay, this is another bumper sticker. This is another post-it note on your refrigerator. This is another little mantra. So in this prayer, in this posture of prayer, what I'm sensing is, in your own way, something like this. Hello, dear invisible friends. Hello, my beautiful archangels, my guardians, my guides, my loved ones from beyond. All of you. I'm asking for your help, your divine guidance. Please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Amen. That's it. That's it. So that can be very, very broad. Please take away from me anything which is not mine. It's like that could be a relationship, an obstacle in your belief system. It could be a situation with somebody or something. Whatever it might be. And let's lock in the eclipses. Let's make the eclipses work for me so I can jump on that evolutionary gateway, get into the elevator at the bottom, through that door, shoot up to the next level, get out of the elevator at the next floor, go in the other door. Amen. Take advantage of it. And so the other part is, please bring to me that which is mine. Whatever that is. Divine inspiration, a thought, a seed, and a kernel of like instructions of what to do, how to channel my energy. Please bring to me that which is mine. In other words, things like send me a sign. Please guide me. Please protect me. Send to me that which is mine. The things that you deserve on your evolutionary pathway going forward. Now, when I'm talking about this little prayer, you have to go into it very, very pure and very, very simple. And there's no point in trying to line it up with things like, oh, please bring me the lottery ticket. Please bring me the fancy car that I want, or my new home, or whatever it is. Like, it's much more, by removing three-dimensional aspirations and raising your aspirations beyond your even own awareness and allowing you yourself to be guided and protected by your loved ones from the beyond, by God, by your angels, archangels, then that will get you on path, and then the planets simply kind of work for you. So the way to activate that, again, I'm just going to say it again very, very simply. Please bring to me that which is mine. Please take away from me that which is not mine. Clickety-click. Put it on a post-it note on the refrigerator or whatever it is, on the bathroom mirror. And it's a prayer. And then wait and trust and believe that that's exactly what will happen. Divine guidance. Basically, the whole reading comes down to praying for divine guidance. Not forcing it, not like, please, it's just like very, very pure, very, very simple. Okay, I hope that helps you. There's your mini reading. Thank you, Necessary Truth. Oh, there you go. Pisces moon in the 10th house. There you go. Career. There you go. Well, this reading might make even more sense than we thought it did. All right, Tina, you're up. Probably very busy doing things around the house. I hope your furry, big, beautiful animals are well. All right. You know what I'm going to do? I got all motivated there for a moment. I can think what I might do.
I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. When the light of hope it fades, when all faith is blown away, when all sense of trust goes down, when a smile turns into frown, when it feels there's no relief, nothing in which to believe, desperate in woe and grief, angels come reminding me, I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected. Angels gather close to me, show me what I cannot see. Angels take me by the hand, lift me when I cannot stand. Angels lead me through the dark, soothe and tend a broken heart, laughing at the circumstance, crying while we sing and dance. I am guided, I am protected, 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 I am guided, I am protected.
There you go. I hope that helps. All right. All right, Tina, let's have a look, see what's going on here. Cards are nicely shuffled. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. Let's have a look at external influences. Kaboom. Oh. It's time. It's time, Tina. So you deserve this. Sometimes when I see this, if this was my own card that I was doing a mini reading for me on myself right now, I would do something like this. Hold on. So the Ten of Cups is very much about happiness and fulfillment. Like all the tens in the tarot. But with the Ten of Cups, it's very much to do with here, the heart center. And it's not so contingent about externals. Okay? So, what does that look like? My feeling again with these readings tonight, they seem to be very blunt messages coming from the planets. And in this case, Tina, it makes me feel that how do you define happiness for you in particular? If you've had certain expectations about happiness in this lifetime, what does it look like? Oh, it's this and this and this and this and this and this. And then you realize, wait a minute, I didn't get any of this, this, or this, or this. On the other hand, I do have that, and I got that, I got that, I got that, I got that. Wait a minute, that isn't too bad. In fact, the more I look at it, that's kind of a beautiful thing. So it makes me feel it's about definitions. How do you define happiness in home? I know you've been through almost, well, pretty much since you started coming to the channel, you've been through these massive surges, ups and downs, huge upheavals. And one of the constant themes is where you're always taking care of everybody else or somebody else. And you never get a chance to take care of yourself properly. And from the bits that I've collected over time, you're at a point now where things have kind of reached a certain point of stability. There's home, there's family. Well, home and family in your case consists of whatever it is, plus your two beautiful furry friends. And it's very consuming, and that can be a perfectly valid definition of home and family and all that deep, warm, fuzzy feeling. Like, it doesn't matter if the windows are really dirty and they haven't been cleaned in weeks, or you've got to do some landscaping. I know I've got an issue with maybe flooring, or I've got an issue with a roof, or whatever it is, but home sweet home. Man. It's learning how to be happy with what you've got and realizing that what you've got is actually pretty freaking awesome in its own way. I think we already know that you're there already, but you just needed affirmation. And like you just needed a little nudge from heaven just to say, it's like getting a big hug. To me, it makes me feel like you're getting a big hug from heaven in the form of your own version of your invisible friends and guardian angels and all of that. Whatever that looks like for you personally. It's like they've come to surround you. And like, Tina, we love you. We love you. It's okay. You can relax now. It's all right. It's okay. All right? What's that? Peace. Peace is my happiness. Oh, wow, yeah. That's a beautiful thing. I was doing a lot of homework on the subject of happiness. And one of the words that came up was content. Not content, but content. Same spelling, different meaning. So with the word content, with the word content, it's almost like basically what you're saying, peace. Content is like the ability to just sit out on the porch or something in the evening and do nothing. Maybe have a cigarette, maybe have a beer or a glass of wine, and just stare at the stars, stare at the moon, stare at the clouds, listen to animals, pet your dogs, and be content. Like, I don't have to go to a big rock concert. I don't have to win the lottery tomorrow. I'm content. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. You just needed a reminder. That's all. Okay, let's have a look. What's the situation here? Come on. Jeepers, look at this, Tina. Okay, the goal at this point is to be happy. How do you define happy? In your case, you've already defined it. Peace equals happiness. That's your definition. Right now, your definition of happiness is peace. So however you came to that position of peace, content, that warm and fuzzy embrace, think of this. Okay, look at it close up. What I'm thinking of is this. Okay, if you look at the imagery here, imagine these are all your invisible friends out there. And that's you at your place. And it's full of, it's like a mutual thing. They are there giving you a big, fat, warm hug, and you are there in a state of content, peace, happiness, and appreciation. And what that does, it sets up a positive feedback loop. They love you, you love them. And your happiness isn't contingent on pure, raw, three-dimensional things. This is content. This is deep, 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 deep. This is the deepest form of happiness that exists. It's like nobody can take this from you. Oh, and coffee. I understand you, Tina. One of my greatest joys in life is getting up in the morning and going out to get my little cup of coffee at McDonald's. I never knew I would be at this point in life, but it really, really is the same thing. It's content. I can relate to this very strongly, Tina. It's like understanding happiness. What is it? What does it really mean? On the global scale and at the personal level, at the extreme details of your personal level. Happiness is a choice. Like a lot of people, obviously, there's probably at least 2 billion people on Earth today, right now, who are living in extreme deprivation. And they would have every reason to be miserable. But sometimes you can see little samples of joy and happiness inside, because it's inside, it's internal, and nobody can take that. It's almost like this is, what I'm also sensing here is that this is kind of like a beacon of light, where this can be like a guiding light for the future, for going forward in life from now onward. Instead of striving for this or striving for that or striving for that, understanding that you've got certain raw ingredients already in place, and what counts now is maintaining the peace, keeping the peace, and either deflecting or defending yourself from anything that would destroy the peace, keeping the peace going forward. Especially once you've had a taste of it, once you get that taste of what it's like to be content, it's almost like a very, very sublime form of ecstasy. Let's have a look. What are the challenges here? There's always challenges, like, oh dear, oh poor me. It can all fall apart at any minute now. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, well, that can happen to anybody. And it can happen especially when we unwittingly tie and bind our own sense of well-being and happiness and contentment, peace, to someone or something else outside of us with the expectations of being happy, and then realizing, oh my God, it's an impossible equation. The thing is, you've already been through these things, Tina. You already have a lot of very raw events where in your natural state of kindness and happiness and generosity, you extended yourself to certain other people who effectively betrayed you or exploited you and left you feeling like this, impoverished through relationship. And of course, again, you're still vulnerable. You're always vulnerable. But now you know exactly the definition of the threat to your peace. In other words, with these eclipses, you can more clearly define certain people and relationships and situations which are toxic to you. So in other words, it's very good to know the enemy. It's very, very good because you already have a clear idea of what that looks like through experience. It's a painful experience, but you know what it is. And once you know that, you're less and less vulnerable to being sucked into detrimental, toxic, unhealthy relationship dynamics, which actually tax you and bleed you dry. How do we proceed? Okay, so with the Ten of Swords here, it's a recognition that we're kind of at the end of this chapter. It can't get any worse. Exactly. Look, you're putting it there in the chat. Like, you already know what it's like to be taken down to the ground. You already know what that looks like. So when it is very, very clearly defined, and when you recognize anyone or anything that has those characteristics, you don't want to add any more swords to the swords that you have endured already. Enough is enough is enough. You know this. It's almost like you could put this on your mantelpiece. It's not like a trophy shelf, but as a reminder of all the things that you've endured and been through, like all the betrayals, the deceptions, the lies, the just the shady, horrible things that happened to you over time. Despite your generosity, time, and best of intentions, you ended up suffering a lot of pain along the way. But the way I look at it with the Ten of Swords here, it's time to put this to rest and basically say, like, I'm done with this. This is over. You've done your suffering. You've done it. You've paid your fair share of, whatever, karmic lessons, karmic debts, karmic dues. It's done. Life is much simpler now. Much, much simpler. It's just like your notes. Stay away from people, especially toxic people. You've got your beautiful animals. Yeah, so do not be frightened of this. This is almost like, the way I see this with the Ten of Pentacles, it's almost like a badge of honor. You know, when you see people in uniform, like military, and they've been through horrific things in wartime, and then they get celebrated and they get their badges afterwards, and they have, badges of valor. I did this, I did that, I endured this, I endured that, I got the badge of this, I got the badge of that, I got all these things. That's what the Ten of Pentacles is. You can wear that with pride. Okay? It's not something to be frightened of. I hope that makes sense. There you go. Thank you, Tina. Hope you got something out of that. I wonder if I can find another little song here. Okay. Here we go. This is for you, Tina.
Okay. If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it and it will come to you today. I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da. Na da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Na da 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 ba da 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 la da 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 la da 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 oh la da 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 oh oh. To be oh so happy. Yeah, I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams this way. Taste your dreams today.
There you go, Tina. Alrighty, time to wrap it up, folks. We've been here for hours. And it's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys got something out of it. I'm glad you come here and book your readings with me. I love doing this. I consider it a great honor. And I hope to keep doing this some way, somehow. I'm going to check out really quick now. And then we'll move on from here, okay? And I'll just play a long song. I'll just let it drift off. And you can all say goodnight. You can chat amongst yourselves. This is called Love the Word. It's like a slow chant thing. It's about understanding the power of words, the healing power of words. And it's almost like how we can mesmerize ourselves with good words. And of course there is the Word. I'm not very religious, but I do believe in God and something beautiful, and that there's something just amazing. We're swimming in love all the time, all day, every day, whether we like it or know it or not. It's a vast ocean of love, okay? How do we manifest that? By the word. Spoken word. Oh. Before I start the song, if anyone's still here and you're listening, what I'm hoping is you can imagine you're at a big concert, like one of these big rock concerts, like a U2 rock concert or something. Really upscale. Everybody knows the songs. Everybody knows the words. It's big. It's loud. It's powerful beat. There's some amazing backup singers, amazing musicians. And I wrote this and recorded it in such a way that I tried to make it sound sort of like that. I hope you get the feeling. Turn it up loud.
Sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now, sing the